province. When it comes to social gatherings, it comes as Ontario reports more than 400 new cases of COVID-19 for the second straight day. 407 new infections are being confirmed today. 1 week ago, cases were 232. Besides yesterday, the last time we saw numbers this high was back in early June. One new death is also being reported today. Ontario's rolling 5-day average is now 333. Another stat to keep an eye on, 71% of today's new patients are under the age of 40. The province setting a record for completed tests with almost 39,000 tests processed yesterday. And as of a breakdown of where these cases are coming from, 129 are from Toronto, 94 in Peel Region, 55 are in Ottawa. Now, those three areas were the first to be hit with the lower social gathering restrictions. Now we head over to Erica Natividad, who has more on these new limits. Erica.
That's right, Melissa. It's no longer a regional measure. Premier Ford announcing today that the restrictions on social gatherings have been expanded province-wide, effective immediately.
Alarm bells are ringing, and too much of it has been tied to people who aren't following the rules. People who think it's okay to hold parties, to carry on as if things are back to normal. They aren't.
Informal gatherings across the province have now been limited to 10 people indoors and 25 people outdoors for the next 28 days. Ford again attributed the case climb to, quote, wild parties. And while alarming videos like these have been surfacing on TikTok, which apparently show young people, presumably students in London, Ontario, gathering in close proximity without masks, he did acknowledge that those aren't to blame alone.
Say someone has a dinner party for 30 people. But like right now, why do you need to have a party for like 30 people? I just don't get it.
The new rules do not apply to staff facilities like bars, restaurants, movie theaters, and places of worship. Meanwhile, close to 39,000 tests were completed yesterday, a new provincial record. But there is still a substantial backlog in tests, some health units reporting up to a 7-day turnaround time. Long lines continue to form outside of COVID-19 assessment centers, with waits ranging from 2 to 4 hours at some locations. In response to the increase in demand, Premier Ford said 10 new pop-up assessment centers are currently coming online, and the province has extended hours at multiple centers, with testing at pharmacies and COVID-19 hotspots also in the works. Alberta has changed its policy to prioritize those who are symptomatic, but infection control epidemiologist Dr. Colin Furness says the priority should be increasing capacity.
We should be increasing our testing capacity, and anyone who's been exposed absolutely should be tested. We need to increase our capacity. I've been saying so since May. We have 170,000 teachers who need to be tested regularly, and we didn't build the capacity to do that.
As for whether the rise in cases marks the start of a second wave, the province's Associate Chief Medical Officer of Health wouldn't say, and Dr. Furness believes we're not there just yet.
This is not necessarily quite the start of the second wave yet. I think this is the cumulative effect of loosening restrictions for a few months, and people really feeling like, they were cheated for most of the summer, getting together, having backyard parties, getting together in their houses, doing things that they know are risky, that they know they shouldn't do, and that some people got unlucky. I think it will go way up, but I think that's going to happen probably in about another 6 weeks.
Now, Markham Mayor Frank Scarpitti released a statement today thanking the Premier for expanding the restrictions. He had previously asked for those restrictions to include York Region, which is one of the hotspots for COVID-19. Now, the province has introduced new legislation which would set a minimum fine of $10,000 for organizers of illegal gatherings. There is currently a fine of up to $750 for those who attend.